What had happened was.
You need the interpreter, yes or no?
No, no, ma'am.
Are y'all sure? Because I'm going to release her.
Yes.
I'm 100% sure.
Okay. All right.
Okay, Your Honor.
And you do speak English well, correct? You actually taught English in Colombia.
I need a interpreter.
Are you kidding me?
Oh my God.
You have got to be kidding me. What? What is going on today?
Okay.
This is a joke. This is a joke. Today is an absolute joke.
Your Honor, he speaks English. He taught English.
I
He
speak
said he
English.
needs an interpreter.
I need an interpreter when I cannot express myself sometimes.
This is a joke.
Mr. Bennett,
I apologize.
This is a joke.
you just allowed the interpreter to be excused. This is ridiculous.
Welcome to What Had Happened Was.
When we take a peek into actual court cases and give you commentary based on our unique perspective and experiences, and also give you informational tips and tricks to help you avoid a what had happened situation.
Before we get started, give us a thumbs up, a tasteful comment. Subscribe to the channel to be notified of every video as they come out.
And then
Just almost done this.
This is the last part.
Okay.
You went to but even though they told you were not welcome, you went to their neighborhood recently while you knew Emma was at work, and you walked down the middle of the street and ran into her younger sister, Sela, correct?
I'll take the fifth.
You scared Sela by asking her creepy questions, and she told you if you don't leave her alone that she would call the police, correct?
I'll take the fifth.
So, Mr. Salamanca, this is all just a sampling of the daily physical and psychological abuse that you put the petitioner through. You tried to, not only did you harm her and scare her, but you also tried to control and isolate her, correct?
I'll take the fifth.
Do you understand that she does not ever want to see you or hear from you again?
I'll take the fifth.
That's all I have, Your Honor.
Mr. Bennett, do you have any questions?
Not for Mr. Perez, no, ma'am.
Ms. Dorfman, anything else?
I have Ms. Brothers on the screen just to swear that all of that I asked about was true and correct, and she does want the court to issue this protective order.
All right, anything else, Mr. Bennett?
Your Honor, I'll call Emma Brothers as the respondent for this pursuant to OCGA 246611C.
All right, go ahead. Ms. Brothers, you don't need, all right, Mr. Perez, you need the interpreter to understand the questions that Mr. Bennett is going to be asking. Yes or no?
Talking to you, Mr. Perez. Can you hear us? I'm going to assume that's a no, Your Honor, and move on.
Well, I'm not going to assume it.
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Brothers, something's happening with your audio. I'm getting some feedback. You're sitting too close to a phone, just near your computer or something. Electronics, it's all in the way. So there you go. Go ahead with the questions, Mr. Bennett.
Yes, ma'am. All right. Good morning, Ms. Brothers. My name's Eli Bennett.
Y'all are maybe sitting too. Yeah, Ms. Brothers, there's still something. Is there a phone near you?
There should be. Hold on one second. Okay. Is that any better?
Let's see. Go ahead, Mr. Bennett.
Yes, ma'am. My name's Eli Bennett. I represent Mr. Perez. I'm just going to have a couple of questions for you, okay, ma'am?
All right.
Buenos días, señorita Brothers. Yo soy Eli Bennett y yo soy el abogado del señor Salamanca Pérez.
All right. On or about March 3rd, did you prepare or fill out an ex parte application for a protective order against Mr. Perez?
En o por el 3 de marzo, usted solicitó o denunció una orden de alejamiento en contra del señor Pérez, ¿verdad? Sí.
Okay. And paragraph 4 of that order details specific acts you accused Mr. Perez of, correct?
Correct.
An ex parte application for a protective order against Mr. Perez.
En o por
Yes.
el 3 de marzo, usted solicitó o denunció una orden de alejamiento en contra del señor Pérez, ¿verdad? Sí.
Okay. And paragraph 4 of that order details specific acts that you accused Mr. Perez of, correct?
Correct.
So in paragraph 4, you stated,
Hold on, let Miss Claudia tell Mr. Perez what you asked.
Okay. There is still some very heavy background noise. Apparently, you have two devices with the audio in your room. So please turn the other one off. So I can hear my voice.
It's got to be you, Miss Brother. So if you're sitting close to anybody.
No, she's in a private room, Your Honor. I believe Mr. Bennett and the respondent are in the same place.
Okay, yeah, they can't be like near one another.
we're not responsible for the feedback, Your Honor. My
Okay,
client
I'm
is
talking to Miss Brothers. She has people on here for support, so I'm telling her if she's close to them, we will get that feedback.
She is in
I'm not hearing anyone, Your Honor.
It's horrible.
En el párrafo número 4 de la petición, Mr. Eli Bennett, would you please repeat about paragraph 4 of the order?
I can try, yes, ma'am.
Thank
Paragraph
you.
4 detail the allegations, the specific allegations that you made under oath against my client, correct?
En el párrafo número 4 de la solicitud se detallan los alegatos que usted hizo en contra de mi cliente, ¿correcto?
Now, Miss Brothers, I've muted you because of that background noise. Take yourself off mute, answer, and then place yourself back on mute. You know.
Emma, you can answer.
Yes, that is true.
Great, now I'm going to place you back on mute until he finishes, okay? Go ahead. That's the next question, Mr. Bennett.
In that paragraph, did you accuse my client of punching you in the face during sex?
En esos alegatos, usted acusó a mi cliente de haberla golpeado en la cara cuando estaban teniendo relaciones sexuales.
I kind of feel bad for the interpreter because she had to sit there and say it like again. She's like she's pausing because she's like I don't even want to translate this again.
Yeah, this is also mental abuse.
But she has to remain neutral. She can't even, you know.
This is just a preliminary. This is not even the court case. It's not a trial, nothing. This is just a protection order because of allegations, and they're trying to, justify getting a protection
why they need the protection order.
Yeah.
Why they need to keep him away from her.
Yeah.
And the house.
¿Verdad?
Yes.
Sí.
Your Honor, I will state that I was present with Ms. Brothers and was instructed by your staff not to have to detail everything, just to put a little bit in, just to get the protective order.
Yo le
It's not a particularized motion like, it's not a particularized motion like a criminal. It's a notice pleading. Some notice and you're on notice. Sorry, Ms. Claudia.
And this is the milk of the matter. This is not even the meat. So imagine how many more things they're gonna go into details.
Wow. Yeah.
And everything. This alone, you're like, oh my goodness.
This in itself is milk. This is horrifying.
And he's taking the fifth.
Yeah.
And getting interpretations.
Okay.
Yo le indiqué a mi cliente que ella no tenía que tener todos los detalles ahí en la orden. Está
Okay.
bien.
At any time, did you call the police to report any acts of dating or domestic violence against my client?
¿En algún momento usted le habló a la policía para reportar actos de violencia en contra de mi cliente?
At the end of the relationship, I called police and filled out a police report.
Al final de la relación, yo le llamé a la policía para llenar un informe de la policía.
At the time that you sought this TPO or after it was filed, did you communicate with my client?
Durante el tiempo en que se hizo la solicitud de alejamiento o después de que la presentó, ¿se comunicó usted con mi cliente?
We communicated up until I was admitted into emotional support rehabilitation center for the domestic abuse, which was before he was the protective order.
Answered that. Go ahead. Yep.
So that was
Sí.
prior to March 3rd?
Fue antes del 3 de marzo, entonces.
The last time we communicated, I believe, was March 3rd.
La última vez que nos comunicamos fue el 3 de marzo. Ella indicó que es que se había metido a un lugar para apoyo psicológico por abuso.
Okay. Do you remember telling my client via direct messages that you told law enforcement or the court system that he had never been violent with you before?
Recuerda haberle dicho durante mensajes directos con mi cliente que usted le había indicado a la policía que él nunca había sido violento con usted.
I do not recall.
No recuerdo.
Would it refresh your recollection if I showed you a copy of the messages regarding that statement?
Absolutely.
Le recordaría, si yo le muestro mensajes, una copia de estos de lo que usted le dijo a él directamente en mensajes sobre la policía. Absolutamente.
Your Honor, I'm going to object. I've been the attorney of record for petitioner since March 6th in this case, and I have never been sent anything or shared anything. And I do not have access with my client right now. She is in a secure facility. So I'm going to object.
Yo voy a objecionar, su señoría. Yo he estado representando a mi cliente desde el 6 de marzo y nunca se me han enviado o compartido ningún tipo de este tipo de comunicación para mí, para yo estar consciente de esto. Y mi cliente ahora se encuentra en una instalación con seguridad.
Your Honor, my response is I'm just attempting to refresh her recollection. It's not an evidentiary exhibit or anything like that.
Nada más le dije esto para recordarle la memoria a ella, para refrescar su memoria. No es para no es para presentarlo como parte de las pruebas.
Okay, is this relevant?
¿Tiene relevancia esto?
I would submit it is because it's directly impeaching of, well, not really her testimony, I guess her testimony through her lawyer asking my client questions, that he was violent.
Sí tiene relevancia, su señoría, porque es para impugnar, bueno, no impugnar, pero sí para mostrar que ella no había demostrado que él era violento, no lo había dicho.
And in fact, it's been discussing this very matter that's pending before this court at the time that she was allegedly, making these claims in court with her lawyer.
Y tienen que ver con respecto a las discusiones de los alegatos que estaba haciendo durante el tiempo en que se interpuso esta demanda, en que estaba hablando con su abogada.
Go ahead and answer the question. Go ahead, answer the question, ma'am.
So his lawyer's saying that they still been in contact, that even though she made the police report, she's still been talking back and forth to him.
Right.
And that it's not that serious.
Exactly.
Like she's making it seem like all these things are like, that's not really what happened. But he's not saying he didn't do it. He's saying he pleads the fifth. She's saying this is what happened. He's saying he's not agreeing to it, but he's going to plead the fifth.
Right. He's saying if it happened, then why are you still?
And why are you still calling me?
Why are you still calling him? Well, why are you still in contact with him? If you're in a secure facility and so
she's in like a rehab facility.
Why are you contacting him? Right. He can't contact you.
I don't even know. Do they even keep their phones with them?
I have no idea.
Who knows now? With everything now.
No idea.
I don't know.
Responda la pregunta.
I would be willing to tell the defendant anything he wanted to hear to protect my safety. And if that includes telling him I did not report his violence, I absolutely would have said so.
Yo le diría al acusado cualquier cosa para protegerme de sus actos de violencia. Y si esto quisiera decir mentir al respecto de no haber hablado con la policía sobre esos actos, claro que lo haría.
So that makes sense. The answer to my question then is yes, you did tell him he was never violent with you, and you stated that, correct?
And she's saying that he said, well, you lied. And she's saying, yeah, I did lie because unfortunately, the way he operates, it doesn't matter kind of what she says, but she's going to say anything to kind of like get him away from her. So if he says, is the sky blue and it's green outside, she's going to be like, yes, it's blue.
Yeah, she's saying anything.
She's going to say anything to get away from him, to get him off the phone, to be agreeable to him because of the violence that she's alleging that he's already shown to her. So now when you ask her the question, did you say that? She's going to say, yeah, I did say it. And he's going to say, oh, well, you lied. And she's like, yeah, because even when I tell the truth, the report says she told her she was a bad lady.
Right.
Told her she was talking to people.
Yep.
Told her he saw her doing things with other people.
He didn't want her wearing certain clothes.
So he didn't want her wearing certain clothes. Told her she couldn't have his baby.
Right.
After she terminated the pregnancy, made her drive him while she's in pain trying to recover from this to go do something else, knowing full well she's not feeling well.
So yeah, so again,
she's like, yeah, at this point she's exhausted. She's just like, once again, anything, and this just whatever to get away from him, which is probably why they put him in a rehab, because now if he goes to the rehab, he has to explain to the security. Now it's not the house anymore. Now it's not, I forgot my shoelace. I wanted to go by and get something.
You have no business being here at all.
Entonces la respuesta es que sí, entiendo lo que usted está diciendo, pero está diciendo que sí, que no hubieron, que usted le dijo a él que no había habido actos de violencia.
Asked and answered, Your Honor. He said yes.
Is that a yes, Ms. Brothers?
I still do not recall. I'm just saying it's possible.
The question, you said, all he wanted, you said something, you told him anything he'd want to hear. Is that a yes? If that's what you told him?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, next question.
No recuerdo, usted le decía lo que él quería oír, sí.
So one moment, Your Honor.
Okay.
I don't have any further questions, Your Honor.
Anything else, Ms. Dorfman?
No
Ms. Brothers, is everything that you put in your petition true and correct?
Licenciado, lo que usted puso en su solicito es verdadero y correcto, sí.
Are you in fear for your safety and the members of your family's safety from Mr. Salamanca Perez?
¿Usted teme por su seguridad y la seguridad de los miembros de su familia? Contra señor Salamanca Pérez?
Absolutely, yes.
Absolutamente, sí.
Are you asking the court to extend the protective order for 12 months?
Le está pidiendo a la señora juez que extienda la orden por 12 meses, la orden de alejamiento.
Yes.
Sí.
That's all I have, Your Honor.
Eso es
Right.
todo.
Anything else, Mr. Bennett?
No, Your Honor, just argument briefly.
No, argumento breve.
Oh, is it my turn?
I mean, I'll argue very briefly, Your Honor, that this was a very controlling textbook relationship of psychological family, dating violence, abuse. He literally would not let her talk to other people, didn't want her to go on a vacation with her family. He controlled all her actions, got her fired from her job because he would watch her. And if she, God forbid, spoke with any male coworker, he would blow up at her. He did punch her in the jaw. He did force her to terminate her pregnancy. And he did grab the steering wheel, causing her to almost crash. She is very fearful for her safety. And again, I'm sure she did tell him whatever he wanted to hear before she checked herself into this inpatient facility. So we would ask the court to extend the 12-month protective order.
Su señoría, este es un caso en que es típico de controlar a la persona de manera física y psicológica, en que hubo violencia, en que no dejaba que ella fuera a diferentes lugares, trataba de aislarla, aislarla, no podía ir de vacaciones con su familia. Él, de hecho, la golpeó en la quijada, hizo que ella terminara su embarazo, o sea, que abortara. Y también tomó el volante, en peligro de que ella pudiera haber tenido una situación de un accidente. Además, ella teme por su seguridad. Okay, that's all I can.
All right. And also, Your Honor, Mr. Salamanca Perez, the respondent, had every opportunity to explain his side of the story, but he chose to instead plead the fifth on every single question asked.
El señor Salamanca pudo haber explicado su versión de los hechos, pero él se negó, acatándose a la quinta enmienda constitucional en todo. Por lo tanto, pedimos que se extienda la orden de alejamiento por 12 meses.
Mr. Elliott, excuse me, Mr. Bennett.
Your Honor, I'll really just be brief. The discrepancy between what's in the petition and what we heard today through Ms. Brother's counsel is striking. We have an allegation of a threat of violence, no actual violence. Grabbing a steering wheel, which I don't believe was even directly asked about on.
Now, I guess he's thinking like, oh man, maybe I didn't go the right way with this. Because now everything she said, he can't refute anything because he took the fifth.
Exactly.
So she could have said that he turned into an elephant at night. And since he said he took the fifth, he can't say that he doesn't turn into an elephant at night. So everything she said, he has to wait for trial. And now they're extending that protection, that temporary protection order for another 12 months.
Exactly.
And who knows if he just got to stay there too. So then there's no guarantee he's going to be able to get a bond hearing either. Is there?
De alejamiento por 12 meses.
Mr. Elliott, excuse me, Mr. Bennett.
Your Honor, I'll really just be brief. The discrepancy between what's in the petition and what we heard today through Ms. Brother's counsel is striking. We have an allegation of a threat of violence, no actual violence. Grabbing a steering wheel, which I don't believe was even directly asked about on cross or direct or whatever it was of Mr. Perez. It's a very unusual process to have a witness vouch for somebody else's cross-examination and have that be sufficient to grant a TPO. It's an interesting strategy. All I would submit is that, yes, of course, the court is within its discretion to take a negative inference. But given the beginning of Ms. Dorfman's questions that focused on completely unrelated, irrelevant issues, I think that that should also be taken into account when the court decides what the strength of that inference should be. Having Ms. Brothers not testify directly to the allegations in an affirmative way and actually provide evidence. There's no pictures of injuries. There's no police report or time that Mr. Perez Salamanca was arrested or charged with any of these heinous crimes he's been accused of. You have a lot of allegations of a controlling relationship and that her parents didn't approve of Mr. Perez. But, everything from my understanding of this relationship is that they were two teenagers essentially deeply in love. It became a toxic relationship.
Who were the teenagers? Because she's 20 and he's 25.
She's 21, he's 25. I don't know what teenage comes in that.
They were deeply in love. It was a time. And if her parents didn't approve, she's an adult. So
listen,
if she goes into a relationship, unfortunately, her parents could not approve of it, but they can't do anything because the only thing is they can say is that she cannot be in their house, that he cannot be in their house.
Right. So in spite of the fact that he sat there and said that her parents didn't approve, she's not 12. She's a grown woman. She's 20. Now she's 21. At the time of the incident, she was 20. So she was of consenting age. She's past the age of consent.
And also, he's saying that, well, when they sat there and said all the things, he couldn't refute it. Well, wasn't his time when he was saying that he was taking the fifth? Wasn't that his opportunity?
That was his opportunity. He could sit there and say.
Then they said that he grabbed the steering wheel. He's like, that's not what happened.
That's not relevant.
That's not
relevant.
relevant.
You're in that car. It is. So it's not relevant. With the smack into the back of a parked car, yeah, it's relevant.
Yep. I don't think he kidnapped her or made her terrified of him. It doesn't appear that was the case. I mean, everything I have is to the exact contrary of that. And that's not what the TPO system is for, is to assist a breakup. And that's what I believe is happening here, Your Honor.
It is not supposed to help with a breakup. It most definitely is supposed to help with a breakup.
Well, I don't know how it's going to not help. It has
So
to, because
if somebody doesn't want to be with somebody else
stay away
anymore,
from each other.
and the other person doesn't understand, I don't want to be with you anymore. Yes, it is supposed to help with a breakup.
Yeah, and they're saying this is an abuse of the system. It's not an abuse of the system.
How is this an abuse of the system?
Because, again, if you don't want it to end, then it is abuse of the system. Depends what side of the coin you're on.
Well, it benefits him to be with her. It doesn't benefit her to be with him.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I would ask you to dismiss this.
Brevemente, su señoría, me parece que existen bastantes discrepancias entre la solicitud de la denuncia y los actos de violencia que se alegan que supuestamente sucedieron, como el haber tomado del volante. Estas preguntas se pudieron haber hecho en contrainterrogatoria durante el proceso. Sin embargo, en todas las preguntas que se hicieron, habían asuntos. Usted puede tomarlo esto como una deducción en contra. Sin embargo, como dijo la señorita Brothers, cuando se le hicieron las preguntas directamente de su abogada con respecto a los alegatos, no se respondieron realmente directamente ante estos, ya que no hay fotografías, no hay informe de la policía que se le hubiera arrestado directamente con respecto a los alegatos de que se le acusan. Aquí sí, tal vez se habló sobre las cosas relativas a una relación.
So, she only has one police report.
Right.
And he, either he was extremely careful when he did the things that he did, that no one was there to witness it or whatever. But here's the thing. When he was outside the window at her job, right before she got fired,
right,
no one saw that interaction between them, because that would be something that they could use.
They saw what they wanted to see, which is usually you don't see him trespassing coming in. You just see me and him arguing like
no, but that's what I'm saying. Even if somebody says, well, I saw them arguing, I saw her talking, and then I saw her go outside and start arguing with somebody, and then next thing I know, she got fired.
Right. That's pretty much how it went down.
But they're not saying, like, it's very, very tricky, because they're making it seem like she was like, oh, I just don't want to be bothered anymore. I'll go get a police. And unfortunately, it has happened.
Yeah,
it's been like that. And he said it's an abuse of the system. Yes, an abuse of the system, but we don't know if she's abusing the system right now.
Right.
So that's why. And then he never refuted anything. He just kept, once again, he kept pleading the fifth. So he never said, I didn't do that. That's not what happened. Anything. He never said, this is not, I never did that to her or anything like that. No. She said he punched her in the face.
Right.
They were in a intimate moment.
Right.
She said he made her terminate her pregnancy, which we know that he cannot make her terminate her pregnancy.
And unfortunately, he doesn't. There's no paper trail to corroborate that per se.
What she's saying.
She does. She can make the statements and the allegations, and the only paper trail she got was the fact that he said, I take the fifth.
That's it.
So that's how it got on the record of what he's done, because he sat there and he's not denying it.
Right, he didn't deny it.
I'm not saying.
So unfortunately, not denying it makes it seem like he's agreeing that he did it.
Right, he's not saying guilty or not guilty. He's not even taking no plea. He's saying, I'm not going to say anything.
I'm not going to say anything.
I'm going to get myself in trouble.
De control, pero son dos adolescentes que estaban enamorados. Él en ningún momento la raptó, se la llevó o cometió actos de terror en contra de ella.
And Your Honor, I must just respond briefly that opposing counsel's argument is extremely concerning. He only chose to ask petitioner 2 questions. He could have cross-examined her for hours if he chose to do so, but he chose to only ask her 2 because he knows she's telling the truth.
So he could have the same way she sat there and ran through all those questions, he could have went back through the questions, because he could have asked her when she said that he made her terminate her pregnancy. That's a little, I don't know, because she could have got into the doctor's office or whatever, because she has to physically go through the procedure. She has to register herself and do all this other thing. And she could have said, my boyfriend's outside and he's making me do this. And they would have called the police on him.
Right.
Because once again, there's a whole courtroom, Supreme Court ruling about this.
The bottom line is they're both dodging bullets in this. She's getting her mental health together now, and he's
the lawyer is saying that this is not really true, and unfortunately, and then she said she got fired because of him. So
as a direct result of his coming on her job.
Yeah, but
she lost her job.
She would have to have proof. Like, what's the details? She can't just make that a general statement. She would have to go into, well, the manager, whoever would have to say, well, he came here this time, we had to call the police. He came here this time.
That's
and
the time.
We didn't fire her. We told her, when you get yourself together, you could come back. Because remember, that's a lawsuit right there if they just fire her.
Right. The bottom line is the date she started working and the date the incident happened tells you exactly what went down and why she was fired. So
she had the procedure.
That's the bottom line. And that, as far as procedure is concerned, the date of the procedure tells you the date that might have been an issue also. So these things can be corroborated. You know, again, there's no paper trail per se because there's no reports retained to it. But there's incidents involving this stuff. Who knows if the job called someone, they called the police? We don't know.
And this is exactly the case why we have TPOs in this country.
Y esto es realmente alarmante, que el abogado de la defensa únicamente le hizo 2 preguntas a mi cliente. 2 preguntas porque sabe que ella está diciendo la verdad. Y esta es la razón por la cual en este país tenemos órdenes de alejamiento en protección de las personas.
And now she's sitting there telling him, to recap, this is why we have these orders in place. And he's sitting there, he has to deal with it because he can't even refute. He took the fifth the whole time. So he cannot sit there and say anything. He has to just sit there and take it now. So now she said everything that she said. We don't know if it's true. We don't know if it's half true. So this is basically like a bad he said, she said, and we don't know. We don't know what really happened.
All right, I'm putting this in place for 12 months. Both of you, both lawyers, just place your email in the chat. Sorry, Ms. Dorfman, you mind doing this order? Because Miss Free is, I don't even know where she's working. I think she's working the window and everything today. But you mind email us a copy of that?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you, Your Honor. You said
email us a copy of the order.
A copy of the 12-month order?
Yeah, we'll grant the order for 12 months. If you just email us, if you just prepare the order.
Okay, I'm assuming that you are ordering respondent to undergo FFIP.
Well, I think this is in dating, and that's been qualified dating.
Yeah, they actually do under the law of Georgia.
They just add that this last time?
So.
Because before it would not. I was just looking.
For what it's worth, he's already going through counseling.
So the judge granted the TPO, and she's saying it's going to be in place for 12 months. And he's asking the other attorney to write up because apparently this other attorney that's representing the victim was a former judge of Georgia who stepped down, and now she's saying about the fact that she's well familiar with the laws. So she's
said that.
So this is definitely someone good to have in your on your case because they know the law. Period.
Yeah, she said that.
Okay.
Do you need the dating violence order in Word?
That's fine, Your Honor. I'll send, you want me to send Ms. Free a copy of the 12-month dating violence order?
Yeah. Do you need it in Word so that you can fill it out?
No, I've got one.
You've got one, the updated one in Word?
Yeah. All right, I'll send it to Ms. Free.
Thank you. I'll sign it. So, Mr. Bennett, can you put your email in the chat or
yes, ma'am.
La abogada
copy of it.
La abogada Dorfman lo va a redactar, le va a enviar copia a su abogado, el señor Bennett. La juez lo va a firmar.
All right. May we be excused, Your Honor?
Yes, Ms. Dorfman. Ms. Claudia, where is Mr. Perez?
Señor
Mr.
Pérez. Señor Pérez.
If you violate this order,
Si usted quebranta esta orden judicial,
you can be charged with aggravated stalking,
se le puede a usted acusar de acecho con agravantes.
which carries a sentence of up to 10 years.
Este cargo, esta falta, lleva una sentencia de hasta 10 años.
If you also violate this, Ms. Brothers is allowed to file a contempt. Mr. Perez,
Sí,
you better turn your camera on.
Prenda su cámara. Y si usted quebranta esto, la señorita Brothers puede emitir una demanda en su contra por desacato a la ley.
She can file a contempt and I can put you into jail up to 20 days and give you a $1,000 fine.
Y con esa orden de desacato se le pondría a 20 días, hasta 20 días en la cárcel y se le cobraría una multa de hasta $1,000.
Do you understand?
¿Usted entiende esto?
I understand.
Any contact whatsoever, Ms. Brothers, the first thing you do is call 911. Once y'all place your email in the chat, y'all can go ahead and leave the meeting. Y'all stay healthy and safe. Have a good weekend.
Thank you. You too, Your Honor.
Yes, ma'am.
Llamaría al 911 en cualquier momento si no cumple.
Ms.
May the
Claudia,
interpreter-
you should get paid double. Yes, you could be
No.
excused. And I'm sorry that people can't figure out whether or not they need your services, but I appreciate you being
That
so patient.
happens a lot. Thank you,
Okay.
Your Honor.
Thanks for watching.
And also give us a thumbs up, like, comment, share. Subscribe to the channel, and you'll be notified of every video as they come up. And get that algorithm going and help us build this channel in 2024.
And make sure that you don't wind up in a what had happened situation.